Boo. 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 Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. There's like something in the air right now. Um, I think all the astrology people or whatever, like something's in retrograde or the solar perplex something. There's some kind of spiritual influx of like negative energy. So people are reporting some bad things happening. Like me, for example, my car getting blown up and my work not needing me. I've been out of work for 2 weeks. You break that down, you guys? You break that down? Let's say on average, I was really only getting 25 hours a week down the stretch. That's 50 hours of my time that I was easily willing to sacrifice to go to work and make the money. So it gets hard, you know? Um, and there's a lot of people in the same situation as me. For one reason or another, have difficulty finding a job. I guess maybe in the past it was more difficult because I had issues, but I always say, hey, if you got to look at things for what they are in reality, and if you're engaged in something that has a high turnover rate, well, yeah, if you have a bunch of jobs that have a high turnover rate, you might end up with a bunch of jobs in your history. But it can be a good thing, you guys, getting experience in all kind of different tastes in life and tasting from the different boxes and cups that life has to offer. It's just especially when you're spiritually plugged in. When things start to go the wrong direction, it can be really hard to like, I don't know, that energy just really isn't there right now. I don't know if anybody else is reporting this. Um, but like the humaga in the air or something. And again, it could be things that I'm doing, not doing right. Um, it's been a weird like Groundhog Day type of 2 weeks where I keep waking up and everything's just like boo in your head. um, but yeah, I guess you got to make more solutions than you do problems or excuses, And that's what I do a pretty good job of. That can be stressful and suck, but making excuses, what that does is it just kind of gives you a reason, an out. Excuses are like a fart, and you can let it out, but it's probably gonna smell. There's not really any kind of chance it's not gonna smell. So I can sit there and think about like the circumstances that I'm in, and you can sit there and think about the circumstances you're in, and it can be hard to think positively about it or not make excuses right now because I don't know. I'm starting to think February is a spell month. If you kind of break it down, um, something this time of year people just don't have, especially in Ohio. A lot of that is just a vitamin D deficiency. It's an epidemic. Oh wait, better not use big words right there. I'm just a comedian. This is not medical advice, but am I allowed to say taking vitamin D during this time of the year is healthy? Can I say that, or will I get in trouble? Vitamin D3 for immunity and brain health and anxiety, depression. Pretty good solution. Blast that shit. At least 10,000 IUs. Get those IUs in you. I talked to this guy on the phone. I learned this shit from another human. I didn't learn it from the internet. I learned it down from a sales job talking to like hundreds of people a week on the phone. And this dude said, I ain't been sick in 30 years. I've been taking vitamin D3 every day religiously. 20,000 IUs. 30 years. Ain't been sick. Not as much as a cold. Now again, I'm a comedian and these are jokes and blah blah blah. I don't want to get striked. Start talking Hulk Hogan and holistic medicine. Didn't Hulk Hogan? He passed away. Rest in peace, Hulk. I think. I haven't really been paying attention. But yeah, it can get hard because the boo spirits can pull you in, and you kind of lose track of your consumption habits, or then you try to consume and things just make you mad. Like me, for example, trying to do this show today. I tried to have a fancy musical intro and it got bombed. My OBS encoder decided to poop itself. And I had some good momentum and I got hooked. I got hoodwinked and then I was mad, but that happens. You know what I'm saying? Technology has issues. I'm using old technology. That happens. My mind didn't. It should have been like solution. Instead, I was like problem, and the boos start coming. And you feel like you're Tom Brady under center, and you're dropping back to pass without a right tackle or left tackle. You're literally just facing a normal ass defense, and all you have is your center and two guards. What do you think? There's no one to block the defensive ends, the most monstrous athletic players on the football field a lot of the time is the defensive end. You look at the best player in the NFL, a lot of people will say Myles Garrett, okay? He's a defensive end. You have your Reggie Whites and your Michael Strahans, and you have all these guys, your TJ Watts, I suppose, outside rusher. I'll give him credit where credit is due. JJ Watt. You have these monstrous guys who, it's a defensive position. You get a lot of sacks. Yeah, the football fans, the football people are going to say that might be the most impactful player on the field. But the fans might not realize that. But anyways, yeah, imagine Myles Garrett. There's nobody to block Myles Garrett and you drop back to pass. That's what it can feel like when it all crashes down at once. But you just have to, I always just have to reframe things. My health is good. My child's health is good. Our home didn't burn down. So it's all good. But yeah, you try to, you gotta like heal in real time. Like there's no time to heal. It's never gonna, especially this time of year, if you sit around trying to heal, the boos are gonna just drag you in. So yeah, life is a game. It can be hard when you don't have an established routine or things are always changing. I think that there's a lot of people out there that experience a lot of bad luck and everything. And a lot of times it's just the influence of bad people. And then it trickles down to someone's vibration. Like one bad person can cause a serious trickle down. You know what I'm saying? Like one bad person doing some fuck shit can really trickle down, right? It trickles down to the victim, and then the victim's vibe and energy as they navigate through life and bump into people. And so yeah, I don't know, maybe these thunderstorms will come and wash away things. But yeah, you know, I guess I always preach the detachment. Um, it's just when you try to detach right now, for anybody super tuned in spiritually, it's I don't even. Yeah, I just maybe Tony's a fucking weirdo, but I think maybe like the how's your love life question is getting a little old. Like that Tony just wants to like hear about other people fucking, and then these people that are up there, they always have these bizarre like I'm a fucking loser, but I get laid a lot. Um, and yeah, I don't. I obviously sexual activity is something that I talk about a lot. How it's been twisted throughout time to be a pleasure center as opposed to an emotional center. Which is just the reality of things and something you have to navigate in these times. But yeah, again, that's just one of those Groundhog Day things you got to be careful of. It's gonna boo on you, you know. Like you're gonna bump into it. There's gonna be triggering things. They're gonna sex sells. You're gonna see it in advertising. You're gonna see it in everything. And that's one of those boo things where it starts getting your energy down when things are tough. And you start thinking about, well, who deserves to feel pleasure? Who deserves to have a job? Who deserves to have recognition? Who deserves to have their encoder work properly? Perhaps by closing this tab, it shall work. Come on, encoder. 314, that's pi. I think we're just going to have to roll with whatever's happening here. Have recognition. Who deserves to have their encoder work properly? Alright, I don't care about the video as long as it's getting my voice. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I'll run an all-night stream showing all my podcasts and it will barely get out there. And every time I scroll through the junk, I'm just like, you know, maybe even if some of my stuff was junk, why doesn't it get noticed like the other junk? But again, that's just consistency. The boos are getting me. When really it's just, oh, you got to run your stream like every night. I don't run it every night. I run it occasionally to try to get some exposure. It don't work like that unless you run it every night. So there's always like a problem, or there's always a solution to the problem. But there's always distractions. But yeah, I guess like you know, if you're Tom Brady dropping back to pass without tackles, blocking for you, blocking the DNs, well, probably just gonna have to run some QB sneaks and buck up. It's about your only option. Okay? I mean, you can maybe motion in a receiver to try and chip, but he's not really helping anybody. He's just chipping. And you can just go forward. All you can do is just kind of dive forward sometimes. That's it. QB sneaks, tush push. That's all you got. You got your running back there to push you. You don't be the guy that hands the ball off to your running back. Don't be the guy that when you don't have offensive tackles out there, literally, you're not even allowed to have them anymore. Your team is penalized and it has to play the whole season without tackles. Are you going to run a fucking sweep? Are you going to run a toss to the outside and there's just an unblocked defensive end? You're not going to do that to your guy. You got to take your own responsibility for not having your tackles. And even if you can't, you're Tom Brady, you might be the best passer of all time. But now you're going to have to be the best QB sneaker of all time. You're going to have to make something new up to be the best of all time, man. But yeah, I don't know. I've kind of seen enough. I've done a little bit of maybe some scrolling and checking in on some comment sections just to kind of maybe gauge a general vibe. And I don't know, I think people year-long argue about bullshit online. They just love calling people an idiot and saying they're right, but they're really, like, if you really just read the back and forth. I've seen somebody, they were arguing about psychedelic mushrooms and the in the illegal states where psilocybin is still illegal, they sell mushroom chocolates at head shops, vape shops. Typically, it's Amanita muscaria, which some people say I feel like I got poisoned. Some people feel like I tripped on mushrooms. Some people are saying that it's caused hospitalizations. I heard 10 hospitalizations in some state from some specific product. But then the Reddit post was like warning people, like, this is not real mushrooms. And this is kind of obvious things that like everybody knows. So one, he posts his PSA, and then the dude that made the post went in the comments and argued with a bunch of people about it for no reason. And people were just going back and forth saying, it's Amina muscaria, it's research chemicals. And they're like, some research chemicals are good. They're like, no, all of it's bad. And it's just like, okay, you're both right on some things, you're both wrong in some cases. Everything is a different case. You guys are trying to generalize terms. All you're doing is basically like, if you taught some third graders a bunch of ideology, one side or the other, and then put them in a room, that's what it would look like. You guys are arguing like third graders. It's basically like a semantics little keyboard battle. And I just felt like it was so low and such a waste of time and just low vibration. Just like, what are you people arguing about? People would be like calling someone an idiot that they agreed with. And they would say the same exact thing just in different words. Like, you're an idiot. No, it's like this. I'm the rightest. I'm the right one. So, yeah, that's a problem. That's like not good. I used to be one of them people that would spat and argue over nonsense online. That's because I was suffering and an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? It's not good. So, I just feel like in the last 2 weeks in my experience and kind of peeking on what people are saying in the comments on everything, it's just like this negative caveman, like I just have to argue. People just have to. They can't just be like nice. And it's not like that everywhere, but it's just on the main things. It's like, but yeah, these are tests, you know? These are tests. And I've had times where I've kind of tapped out or went crazy this time of year. So it's good to face a lot of adversity once again this time of year and not freak out. I mean, freak out a little bit. You gotta let out your, you gotta let it all out in real time. I think people walk around with the weight of everything on their shoulders. And even if you seem toxic, it's better to just start spatting. You know what I'm saying? If you spend a lot of time reframing that everything is perfect, and I know I preach that a lot, the universe will keep feeding you what you think. It'll keep repeating. So if you get dragged into its negativity, it's going to keep feeding you negativity. But if you're okay, if you're super okay and whatever and laissez-faire when the waves of the world hit you, the universe might see you as someone it can throw waves at. And some of our paths are potentially scripted for us to really buckle in and experience some kind of lifelong pattern of discovery and a deeper meaning. And enlightenment. But what does that really mean, you know? And it's hard to track or put a number or a statistical ranking on what's the best life. I think a lot of social media can kind of illustrate that vibe. And a lot of these I think a lot of these popular content creators, I think they start to illustrate that a certain life is ideal. And judging by a lot of the content, it's pretty easy to see that these people are somewhat unwell, you know. You look at one of those characters like the little skinny guy with glasses named Neon. I don't know. What's up, Floppy? I don't know if you know about any of these people, but I would say, like, exposing yourself as the weird one. Like the I Show Speed, he fell off. You know, he's already, you never hear about him. It's like the next one up, but they're willing to make themselves that character. That, oh, I'm this celebrity and I'm meeting all these people, but like, I'm also a freaking idiot that gets into a bunch of drama, and the drama makes me look stupid, and people laugh at me and make fun of me. And they know what they're doing. They know they're doing exactly that. And it might seem all fun and dandy when he makes a post that he's hanging out with some Instagram model, but behind the scenes he paid like $3,000 just for her to come hang out with him. And to even act like that, you'd have to be down bad a little bit. But then on the polar opposite, I think you have a lot of like branding every single thing as like within. There's a lot of nuclear family stuff. There's a lot of like nuclear family normal stuff that maybe would push someone to want that instead of letting their script have that naturally. And I don't feel like for the people that are kind of in the middle and willing to have a different journey, like someone like me, like remember how I used to be on here when I originally started doing shit. I was probably kind of cringe and yelling and doing dumb shit because I thought that's what it had to be. But then on the other side of that, I also thought I had to be like, my best path was as a nuclear family. And I'm a family man. I see my family a lot and visit them a lot. But as far as like a husband, wife, every single day, day in and day out is this and that and this and that, blah, 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 dinner on the table. Like, I just have a little bit more of a journey to go down where that doesn't fit into my time schedule. It doesn't, being in a romantic relationship doesn't fit into my time schedule for what I want to accomplish. No offense to anyone I've dated in the past or anything like that. It was nothing about them. I just don't think I was ever going to be happy until I accomplished what I want to accomplish. But yeah, so meeting things in the middle I think is lacking on the internet. There's a lot of black and white stuff. There's a lot of people arguing about this and that. A lot of people force gray topics into a black and white discussion. Yeah, Floppy, I did see something about the Bears moving out of Soldier Field. Um, yeah, it comes down to money sometimes. Uh, the Cleveland Browns are getting a new stadium. They're moving a little bit out of downtown Cleveland to Brook Park. It's like 20 minutes away from Cleveland, over by the airport, Cleveland Hopkins Airport. And they're doing it to build a dome stadium. You're going to see that. Obviously, these teams that are hosting the Super Bowl are making bank. And I think that everybody in the Northeast region or in a colder climate, the owners are just starting to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I have this sports team. Like, I'm the owner of the Chicago Bears. We have Soldier Field, which is legendary. Don't get me wrong, it's a legendary stadium. But if I build a dome for my team, not only may it increase the fans' engagement, but we're now going to be able to make money, more money. I have this sports team, and I've now added value outside of just the sports team by being able to do year-long concerts, hosting Super Bowls, Big Ten championship type stuff, all the tournaments, all that kind of stuff. Shit changes quick. In terms of, you know what I'm saying? You can't do this time of year. You can't really do that much at Soldier Field. And same for the Browns. We're right on the lake. I mean, literally on the lake. So yeah, I'm a gray area person on all stuff. So I do like the traditional value, when I look at the Bears or the Browns, Cleveland Browns. I think the traditional value in keeping a stadium going as long as possible till it falls apart. I think that is a positive thing that creates a bond between generations of fans. But the big money machine don't care about that. Okay. the big money machine don't give a fuck about your family traditions. I'm saying, like as a historian, I'd say like Browns, Bears, known for having cold games this time of year, and plenty of examples of the wintry conditions being a home field advantage. Now, again, both teams have to play in the snow, but for whatever reason, if you're the home team in the snow, you usually have a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, it always comes down to what's the best financial deal on the table. A lot of these owners and stuff, it's just like ingrained in their brains that it's just that's what got them to be the owner, that they micromanage every tiny little thing to make as most money as possible, and then you end up with a sports team sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I there's just something about when the weather's all shitty and all the people getting together to battle it out. Like today, for example, it's very cloudy out there. It brings a certain energy to the cloudiness, because I remember all these cloudy games that I went to. Growing up, getting to go to all these Browns games because my grandparents had season tickets. And it almost like I tend to look at, like, today I maybe not, I have, a bunch of bullshit going wrong that I have to sort out, so like it's a little pressing that it would be cloudy today, but also, there'd be some excitement around that. That the cloudiness also brings memories of the Browns games. Um, and it can be a symbolism for the grayness. You can see a little bit of peak of sun, but not really. It's not completely grayed over, but it's just kind of in the middle. But yeah, it's sad to think that these snow games are going to be a thing of the past, or just a muddy mess of a game. A muddy natural field getting tarnished. Guys covered in mud. I think that's like part of the sport. But to us, we're in this region. Down south, man, they don't. Football don't mean you play in weather. Down Texas or Florida, all them people, they're really more concerned with making it through two-a-days without somebody dying from heat exhaustion. That's their, um, which again, not easy. People get sick from the heat. But then again, they also have climate controlled domes and facilities. So do they even practice? Do they do two-a-days through the heat anymore? No. Probably not. They have like indoor air conditioning, you know what I'm saying? Like LA has a dome. A lot of the hot places have domes, if you notice. I think Jacksonville's outdoor. Tampa's outdoor. Cowboys at the stadium. That's a dome. Texans, dome. Cardinals, dome. That's Arizona. Rams, dome. Vegas, dome. San Francisco's outside. But it's kind of funny. They're used to. It's like the opposite. In the beginning of the season, those teams in hot climates that have open stadiums, yeah, you got to worry about that. It can be 90 degrees. But once the season goes on, it cools off and it's like perfect temperature. Here, in the northeast region, it gets crazy cold. We get these winter games. You almost get one a year sometimes. especially like Buffalo Bills. Are you saying the Buffalo Bills one will be outdoor? Yeah, we're gonna only get, there's gonna be like one outdoor stadium. Yeah, New York, New York's outside. Interesting that one of do they both use that field, the Jets and the Giants? I think they fucking do. Isn't one of them like MetLife Stadium and the other I don't fucking know. I'm not a stadium expert. But thus is history. 100 years will they even have NFL football? Or will it just be like people will be so used to everything being AI that it's just like I don't even know. This just NFL is just they could take NFL history and just like fuck with it with AI. And just be like, "Oh, we're going to have these random ass weird like it's going to be like every team is a different time frame. So you'd have like Tom Brady versus Terry Bradshaw type shit. You'd have AI recreate the steel curtain versus like Tom Brady, and then all the teams would have a different time. And then they've already had so much happen through NFL history, and we don't want to do it anymore. We're not gonna have new shit. We're just gonna have AI recreate some shit. And at that point, AI will be so normalized in our Wally ass. Although, they're going to need them hovering robots that can do just about anything. They're going to need shit that can farm. But I think they got the AI humanoids. We talk about this stuff all the time. That they already got some high-level Terminator shit. So if they can create a robot that does everything a human can do, then it can go do a human job and shit. But yeah, automization. I mean, if you look at what are those? Those old Atlantis or Tartaria, or those ancient civilization. They had those weird looking robot things. They're like funky Egyptian robot things. What are those fucking called? Like automatons or something? Mythical automatons. Ancient stories suggest priests used mechanical statues such as those of the god Amun, who could move and speak to select pharaohs. Here we go. Historians and researchers point to the ancient simple automata or proto-robots. Now, when I say ancient, though, I'm talking like societies that got buried. Like a whole ass society that just met its endpoint and got buried by something. Now, I guess if there was hella robots... Yeah, but we're talking like... Earth is old, bro. Like the oil we could be using, we could just be all this mechanical shit that got buried, sunk to the bottom, got molded in with shit. And you know what I'm saying? It became future fossil fuels. That's kind of where the future fossil fuels come from. Dead shit. And like at a certain point, shit's gonna be, you can't just dig up 10 miles deep anywhere you want to find these. They could be just way down. We never gonna find shit. There could be all sorts of robotic stuff under us, all sorts of crazy shit that just got buried beyond from what we can dig up. So I don't know if like digging and archaeology is necessarily the best end all be all. Like they kind of use that as like, okay, well our history, let's just think of it like this. Well, we whatever we can dig up, and if we're not digging up cars, then they obviously didn't have cars. But what I'm saying is that this advanced civilization, and potentially even advanced civilization before that, and before that, you know, some in a galaxy far, far away, millions of years ago. You know what I'm talking about? And I think that society destroys itself by becoming automated, and then everything just collapses, and then the machines without the humans eventually crumble themselves, and you're left with a fucking wasteland that gets buried through erosion, millions of years of erosion, and the tectonic shit. Everything just fucking sinks. The mantle, does it not move like this? Where shit gets eventually funneled into the mantle and burnt up? Again, I'm a flat earther, but I still believe in that there's a heated core. But yeah, I don't know. I would yeah, what kind of vibe are the robots gonna be? The robots are toxic masculinity, and the feminines. We end up not going into the AI age because AI is toxic masculinity, and the feminists win the war. And the feminists are the ones who actually save us from the AI. But we're all slaves to females now. But yeah, I mean, archaeologists have found evidence of miniature wooden theaters figuring features that perform synchronized repetitive movements. You know, some wind up type shit. Using some kind of rubber and some kind of gear. But yeah, I don't know if they've whipped up. I don't think anybody's whipped up a car. I know they've whipped up power. I know that they say that there's some signs of power existing way way back. I'm gonna go pee pee. I got a urine. Kitty, you gotta go take over the show. But yeah, I don't know. I've been my temp job has gone sour a little bit with the hours. So I've been looking for work, and this time of year it's always skimpy. It's just, you wonder, like, even 20 years ago, like, factory work, how much more work was available. And I know I've said this many times before, but if a company chooses to save money by automating a process through robotics or artificial intelligence, thus replacing a human, while your profit margins will increase by whatever that person's salary was, the trickle down effect on the economy by this happening on a large scale is very bad. The standard of living that it reduces by reducing the amount of available jobs is really bad. So we're talking about a lot of times a profit margin increasing from, well, some of these can be a lot of people, right? So, oh, I don't know, let's say a robotic system replaces, let's say a robotics replaces 100 people, making 50,000 a year. 100 people. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you get $5 million. If you want to buy a piece of machinery just to, oh, this temp job I worked at, the machinery, it took whatever product, let's say you had water bottles and you needed to load them into a box, into just a standard cardboard box. They'd make a machine, the product would get loaded on the machine, it would take it through and drop it into boxes. They basically made a whole bunch of different machines that put things into boxes. Those machines, pretty not insanely sophisticated. Oh, above my pay grade. I don't know what the fuck the engineers were doing, but we're talking like $1 to $2 million just for that. So that maybe replaces, I mean, something, this machine, I would say it's going to outproduce, but if you had a fair amount of people, you know, could you get a group of 10 people and pay them a combined $1 million? And maybe you'd get a similar output. I don't know. That's not my positioning. But what I'm saying is that there's more complicated processes where these machineries get up pretty high, okay? So you're talking about like a $3, $4, $5 million machine. So you're paying, these companies might be paying $5 million to replace all those people. But you don't have to, now have that machine. And you don't have to pay those people year to year to year. You now have this machine that does it for you. But now that trickles down to 100 people that have to scramble for a new job. 100 people that their consumption habits are going to go down. 100 people that are going to be stressed and not operating at the best vibration. So you look at the overall impact of machinery replacing humans. The amount of money that the people are pocketing from these profit margins that's getting funneled to the rich, if you really broke it down, it'd probably be pathetically low, to the point where, like, bruh, you can't give up, you're a billionaire, you can't give up $100K in your bank account so that 100 people can have a job, because that might be all it trickles down to. When you make a move like this, the profit margins per year, it may, when you're the billionaire owner, there's investors that got to get paid, CEOs, everybody got to get their hands on the profit. You might only get, even if you create a $5 million gap, you might only see 100K of that. So you're telling me these billionaires for 100K are selling out 100 people. Again, that's not the exact math, but you can make it say that. You're willing to sell out 100 people for 100K. So that Bezos, that paid for all his boating fuel. I'm sorry, that's a brash understatement. They pay like $1 million in fuel. You have $1 million to pay for boat fuel. I just, I get to a point, I don't know. I get that most people have like their place in the world where they don't even think about these things, and they're just sheep on the internet and going to their job and all that. I think if more people kind of snapped into that and saw that, like, hey, you could be next, this automation shit, you could be next. I'm a sales guy. Oh, they're not always going to need salesmen. Hell no. I mean, dude, I call even the freaking, I called my maintenance, and it fucking messed with me, bro, because there's an AI assistant. I figured I was going to have to talk to actual human and be like, yo, this is wrong. I need somebody to come fix it. When you come fix it, blah, blah. Or I needed a mail key. That's what it was. I need a mail key. So I figured, like, I'm going to have to tell somebody I kind of lost my mail. Or I broke my mail key on accident. I need a new one. With old keys, sometimes it's like a hassle. Like, you got to, like, call some ancient locksmiths in Indiana, like this 5 states over or some crazy shit. Like, you gotta do Nicolas Cage, National Treasure, just to get a new mail key. But no, I talked to Jenny, the leasing office's virtual assistant, and she kind of sounded real at first. And I'm like, and eventually I was like, excuse me, is this AI? I'm like, am I talking to a fucking person? This is kind of odd. Like, and then they made it, bro, they make it so it sounds busy in the background. They make it so the AI voice, like, you hear the background like it's a busy office, but it's an AI voice. It was tripping me the fuck out. I'm like, if it's gonna be a robot, just have it be a fucking robot. You know what I'm saying? It's not most of the. If you call somewhere for customer service, I mean, it's been automated for so long now. But this entire conversation, I didn't need to talk to a real person. And somehow Jenny, this AI phantom bitch, not a bitch, she did a good job. She's a good bitch. She's a good AI bitch, because next day there's, a mail key just taped to my door. I was like, what the fuck? I figured I fucked up, and then I would have to call up again and be like, yo, I tried to leave a thing for the AI and it fucked up, and like, I need a new mail key. But the AI did it. The AI was able to communicate. Which, I don't know. The one girl, they're a little bit bitchy sometimes. The one girl just looks like we did have like a disaster. There was literally carport fires, and I lost my car, and it was all fucked up. But that's like how every time I've seen her, she always looks like the resting bitch face. No, there's resting bitch face, and then there's resting witnessed a disaster face. Like, the arresting everything's wrong. I guess, people struggle. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it's just funny. So again, this AI thing, I'm sure over a year they're like, oh, we don't need, we have Jenny, the AI. We don't need Sarah anymore. But I don't know, man. It's is it like the best I wish there was some kind of check on capitalism. Um, I don't think robotics is capitalist at all. You can try to say it saves you money and American spirit making most money and most successful company blah blah blah. That's really not it. That's really not the American dream. The American dream is keeping opportunities alive for people. And these nerds in Silicon Valley and all this robotic shit is fucking that up. It's fucking up the American dream. And we now are ruled by chicken neck nerds instead of real men. Like, no offense to Donald Trump, but he's a chicken neck blah blah blah. He had a TV show, bro. He's from a rich family. Like, Joe on the other side, Joe Biden, chicken neck political. It's a bunch of chicken necks. And like, I don't know. Didn't they? The presidents kind of used to seem like historical and badass. You know, like Nixon, JFK, and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is when they started getting wacky. And I'm not saying those people just because they seem more like a decision-making man. That's what you need as president. Someone who makes good decisions. Now it's a marketing contest. You have Donald Trump talking about everything. I'm just going to talk. What does he really do other than make decisions in the government? We don't need like a rabble asshole. But that's how politics works. It is all rabble assholes. And it's designed to be that way. To make you think that there's some kind of free enterprise when it comes to change and the country's wellness as a whole. Or is it just shady dealings and evil at the top? So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like it's like a blanket. That most people are like, haha, the AI made a funny video. And there's not enough like, hey, the AI replaced 100 people and it probably only gave Bezos a small bump in his own personal money. Isn't he rich and supposed to be a philanthropist? No, he's a full-on rapist. Not a philanthropist. Like, I think if we actually got the data and be like, oh, automized robots replaced this many people and it put this amount of money into the billionaires' pockets, we'd be like, that's kind of not enough to do all of that. And then like these robotics companies that make the robots, they have robots that make their robots. And then, oh dude, it's not a very, like, it doesn't take a whole lot of engineers to build a lot of this stuff, you know? These are smaller staffed companies where people are making big profits and big dollars. But then again, it's just like, oh, if you're not an engineer. And I don't even know with like, if you were to go to school right now, 8 years for computer engineering and you were a master computer engineer, are we already past that? Do we already have like, oh, we have a program that we just taught everything you know in milliseconds? We just taught this AI system everything you went to school for 8 years in 2 minutes. So like, I mean, it's gonna bite their own apple. The engineering community, this AI stuff's gonna start biting out of your own apple because now you don't even have a need for coders. Because coding is something that can be easily automized. Hell, code is written to kind of be automatized anyways. Now, I do have something to say about the AI in particular. So, like, artificial intelligence. I think there's this picture painted where right now there's a big difference between what is actually artificial intelligence and capable of making its own decisions and shit. Is that really, yeah, it's artificial intelligence. It's an intelligent thing, but it's artificial. Well, isn't that just machine learning painted a little? Isn't just machine learning kind of applied a little bit more? I think when you have something that starts writing its own code and gets its own agenda and stuff like that, if you were to put something in charge of making decisions, but that thing that's in charge of making decisions is still just a machine learning, a machine being given information, learning from that information, and then applying that to the decision. It's like applied machine learning. This idea of like the AI and what that resembles is way darker than what they have going on right now. That's where you start talking about the Neuralink and your neural interfaces. And the concern that they will make a system that will actually be the AI that will be the mark of the beast, and essentially think of it like a computer program being uploaded to your brain, and you now run based on this program. With a fully integrated, like, computer brain, IU, like a user interface, like if they actually get the user interface in your head, where basically you're just like, you can see a computer screen, and it kind of like tells you and compels you what to do. Dude, you might, I don't know what that looks like, because if that thing has full capabilities on your brain, has access to your vision, sense, voice control, everything, it now has access to everything, right? If Elon Musk's brain chip is being used to allow people to move limbs that were paralyzed before, that would be your motor, okay? Motor skills. If it makes a paralyzed person be able to walk by fixing certain neural pathways and nervous system, whatever's going on, it would almost be easier that if you took, it'd almost be easier to think that if you had a normal, healthy human, that would be able to connect to your nervous system, right? That's what's going on. It's connecting to your nervous system, allowing you to move a limb that you couldn't move before. But on a normal person, A, B, A to jump. Dude, you become a fucking game. You could literally be a game. There could be somebody in a fucking room with an Xbox controller and a VR headset being you. Who do you think? That's the breakaway civilization that Alex Jones talks about. He doesn't really break it down, but essentially the breakaway civilization is the controllers. The rich class will be the controllers. And when I say control, it's not just control the sheep. It's like hands-on, bouncing from person to person, fucking just a video game. Imagine that. That's what they're in a room plotting for. That we could have society, humans, as a playable character. Bryan's world, Floppy, Polly, Chinchy, all of us, that will become playable characters, NPCs. And You can draw some plenty of correlations and historical factual information that the government was ahead technologically. There's plenty of examples. By 10 years. Again, they could be amongst us. Now, there is a certain level of control already. Frequencies, cultural habits, brainwashing, programming. I think society is corrallable. We saw that during the pandemic. It's very corrallable. Can corral it, kind of get it to do what you want. But you can't necessarily control it. Action by action. That's where the Neuralink and a holistic brain-computer user interface would change everything very quickly. And then basically your brain is just the computer program telling you what to do. And you're not actually in control at all. But you wouldn't even know. You just think that's normal. That you're, oh, cool, we're one with the computers. Imagine being born into that shit. You get brain chipped as soon as you're born. You don't know any different. So yeah, I think everybody and their brother talks about all this AI and stuff, but nobody's really talking about what they're showing you is very limited to what can actually happen. And it is scientific fact at this point. Unless they're blowing Fugazi with the Neuralink, they could be blowing Fugazi and they don't actually have it, but they fucking probably have it. Working just fine. When we were talking about the monkeys getting fried, that's what they want you to think. When they're saying Elon Musk fried the monkeys with the Neuralink and this isn't going well, yeah, they wanted you to think that. I mean, does Elon look at him? Just look at him. Does he not look like somebody who's got fucking Twitter scrolling in his head all the time? He has it. He has it, dude. He can Google shit in his head. He's just reading a script. I mean, why do you think he always be looking all fucking days like reloading? Okay, yes, Elon Musk. No, I can't do an Elon Musk impersonation. But yeah, I don't know. This stuff seems science fiction. But, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into any of this stuff in a while. We used to do that all the time. Boom, ba, loom, ba, doopa dee da. Oh, that's some Willy Wonka shit, you guys. Well. Ba, moom, ba, doopa dee da. I told you 4 years ago. Loopa dee da. Bum. Bum ba da bum ba da ba ba bum 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 ba da bum ba da ba da bum bam 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 bum ba bum bum ba bum. Dude, we're in it, bro. They're gonna be having stormtroopers running around, dude. Holy shit. Telepathy device. High volume production of its telepathy device. And they're going to do that in 2026. They've got 21 patients worldwide. They have implanted its brain-computer interface in 21 patients worldwide. What it's like to try out Elon Musk's brain trip. Oh boy, you guys. Hundreds of potentially thousands of implants per year. Highly automated, streamlined surgical procedure. They're gonna have robots putting robots in your brain. Ah! And people are talking about Jerry Epstein, you fucking idiots. And they're not even he sexually assault, people on the planes. They're pedophiles. The pedophile ring, all of it's still going on. Another guy steps in to be the ringleader. But they're not going to let you know this time. Last time they had Epstein set up as a 20-year scapegoat. That was a whole 20-year process of scapegoating him. People knew about it long before. And again, they talk about sex trafficking, not pedophile rings. That's what's really going on. It's almost like it's a fun little. We make jokes about Epstein still. It's been like 2 years, 3 years. The last 3 years, people have been talking about Epstein in the flight logs. Everyone, they fooled you guys. They fooled everybody. The fact that people are still talking about that, you're idiots. You should be on trying to find the next the mogul who took his place. But they ain't gonna make it like that. It's a scapegoat process. Diddy was a part of it as well. You have a concept that starts getting uncovered. You've had people clamoring for a long time with Pizzagate. They had to start doing some shit when Pizzagate came out. They had to start doing some shit. Like, we gotta make these scapegoats because that shit wasn't supposed to get out. Basically, it confirmed the suspicions and some of the stuff from the Bohemian Grove. So what are they going to do? Well, one, we got to frame this as just normal sex trafficking. Okay, now it's time to use this Epstein character. Let's hammer down on him. Let's hammer down on the Diddy character. and do the whole process, Make it look like if there's a bad guy, we'll catch the bad guy. And our government is funding $650 million. They already gave them the money. That was June 2025. That's $650 million that could have been used to help people and end world hunger and combat the mental health crisis. Create jobs and wellness for people. But we gave it to a brain device. 650 million, guys. That's over $500 million. That's almost $1 billion. Where does that kind of money just fucking come from, even? Dude, most people are making the average wage is like $40K, $50K in the country. Dude. That's insane. It's fucked up. Dude, listen, man. If they're not putting it, trying to, wouldn't they say that? They should at least say that, bro. Yeah, such as controlling your computer mouse, phones, typing using only their thoughts. Life-changing results. So there you go, you guys. And it's already fucking over. No, it's not over, but everybody, every little tech dude is gonna be like, I want the computer in my head. How many people are gonna get the computer in my head? Oh, God. Unlock human potential tomorrow. Oh, God. Just look at it. Wow. Wow. It looks like the dude's Wally. They all Wally, bro. Wow. Alright, sorry when I try to... It's gonna mess up my computer now. Dude, you fucking dicks. Why are they such fucking dickholes? Do they hate people? They do. They hate humans, don't they? They love the robots and hate humans. Okay, look at this, you guys. A robot designed by Egyptian mechatronics engineer to turn humidity into water. Usable in arid environments like Mars. Bro. Do you know how many fucking climates we have? That people need water, that people are struggling. I find that odd that my connection would get weird as I point this out. I find that a little bit odd. Controllers. Oh, you don't want me to talk about this? That you guys are framing people's brains to care more about Mars than people dying of thirst in Africa and other countries? Oh. Humidity into water. Wow, that would really help solve, world hunger and world thirst. Oh, but we really just are making it for Mars. Sorry, thirsty people. Sorry, thirsty people out in the desert. This is for Mars. Anybody else done? Anybody else kind of done with all this shit? Ready to start bashing nerds? Anybody else? Am I the only one who's ready to start bashing these nerds? Bad nerd. Like, just go to this guy's... I will go to Egypt and bash the nerd. I will bash this nerd. How dare you? Can we comment to him? I'll freaking sell your hole for 10 years, you fucks. Look at you stupid fucks. You're going to put it on Mars, you dumb cucks. You're in Egypt. The people are thirsty there, you dumb shits. Oh, you fucking idiot. To produce potable water for Mars. Works by absorbing moisture from there. Why don't we get things right here before we try going to Mars? Again, Earth is flat. You can't actually go to Mars. It's a mystical, spiritual orb. Can't go there. We live in a closed system. Whether the Earth is round or flat, you can't go in past the Van Allen radiation belts. No one's ever gone past it. You'll get fried. It's a spiritual wall. It's a spiritual wall. You can't go past it. Blah, blah, blah. Let's fix what we have. Let's use our resources to fix here instead of sending billion-dollar things that just go up there and hit the thing and fall. Or they just go up there and they float in the atmosphere. You can float a little bit in the atmosphere. But once you try to get to those Van Allen radiation belts, that's like where physical reality meets the spiritual barrier. Again, whether it works on the flat or round Earth, but that's a barrier that's never really been broken. Wow. The ELU robot project that we would even millions and millions of dollars, you guys, millions, so that they can absorb moisture from the air on Mars. People out of touch or something, brah. People out of touch to how it really be out here, because that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Critical... the astronauts need water. Oh, the fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy needs a glass of water, so let's build a fucking $500 million water machine for this dickhole. Oh, the astronauts up in these asshats up in space, they're thirsty. They don't have enough water in space. I'm sorry. We got to get more water up in space. Let's figure that out before we, try and worry about world hunger or anything like that. I'm going to walk up to Bill Gates with the mic. What is it like to be a fucking liar? You see this shit, Bill? They got things from Mars. If you're a philanthropist instead of a full-on rapist, how about you explain into this mic why you haven't worked with a company that can do this to all the people you say you're helping. Why don't you fucking rule them fuckers out? Bill Gates should be riding around like Santa Claus, feeding the needy, if he really is a philanthropist. Fucking liar. Haters, dude. They hate us. They hate people. They hate civilization. They want to use it as a fucking game. They want to game us. Holy shit. Potential future missions. Bro. God, I hope I fucking idiots. I wonder, there's gotta be some people in the comments like, you fucking idiots. I'm gonna comment India today. Yeah, it was 4 years ago, and we haven't. This was 4 years ago, and people are still thirsty. Yeah, use it for Mars, and not. No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, use it for Mars and not thirst. I'm not. I want to say, like, yeah, this is an Indian company or Egypt. Huh. I don't know. It's, fucking subhuman shit eaters. Fucking bozos. I want to say a lot worse. Like, I'm going to come there and fuck you. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a fucking downvote, dude. What's his name? What's the engineers that is hoarding important technology for Mars? Which, again, you can't go to Mars. Oh, boy. Look at this fucking thing. Bro, it looks like... looks like some shit out of freaking Spaceballs. Look at these fucking idiots. They made freaking Mars Mount. Look, they're in Mars, Canada, bro. Look at them. That's Mars. That's Mars, Canada. You can go to Mars. That's right. It's in Canada. Literally, go to Mars, Canada, and be like, oh shit, this is what Mars looks like. Oh fuck, this looks like all the Mars pictures. It's a fucking barren Canadian desert. Look at their little ding-dong terrorist signs on there, you fucking idiot. These fucking towel heads. Say there. I'm pissed. And this was 5 years ago, so now they're probably like, oh, we got a jerk-off machine that only works on Venus. We got a freaking hand job machine for Venus. It turns the fucking Venus chemical air into a machine that jerks you off. At this point, if Elon Musk came out and said that, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's what they do. They make jerk-off machines. They just need to get rich because their dicks don't work anymore. That's what happens. Like all the rich, all the billionaires just have little dicks and have ED. They've never even been hard in their life. Their shit don't work. So they have nothing else to do other than be mad and try to plot on controlling society. Elon Musk wants to use you to get laid, bro. He's gonna get the computer chip in your head, and he's gonna compel you to go out there and get laid. But he's gonna be the one with the pleasure. You're the one, you get kind of cucked by Elon. Makes you bang a girl you don't like. He goes out and forces you to buy a prostitute because we all know Elon, even if he had access to me, he still would never replace my Riz. I guess he could. Damn it. He could write a computer program that downloads my Riz and then make a AI for it. Fuck. Damn it. He is gonna have access to my Riz. Fuck you, Elon. You can't have my Riz. You leave my Riz alone when you're controlling me to weird little things. Dude, everything that I say that sounds like a crazy person comes true. A lot of it. So I'm like Alex Jones out here. I told you they were going to be doing this shit with the Neuralink and it was not going to go away. And they were going to start plugging in our brains. And now he's doing it. Alright, I need to get rolling. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, keep it real and way to persevere through madness. Hell yeah.